Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Welcome to Chaos Media. We are having a BM session right now. BM sessions.
That's what we're gonna call this thing, I guess. Yeah, we're Chaos Media. That's our YouTube media channel, independent media channel. We're getting going here. This is a first time new experience for us, and we're titling this show the BM Sessions Podcast, I guess.
Yeah, under the Umbrella Corp sort of idea of Chaos Media. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I am Matthew McAdam. I'm going to be co-hosting with my good buddy Brian here.
Yeah, I am Brian Johnson, and I'm co-hosting with Matthew McAdam, and
Ooh.
yeah, we're
Ooh,
looking forward to this. We've been talking about it for a few months. We're sort of mutual friends. We hang out in the same circle of friends, I suppose. And I just, as we were talking, I guess it was the a lot of the American election last year that kind of got us talking.
Got a lot of people talking, I think. You know, that was one of the, these elections have so much buildup. You can't help but have like a crap ton of people get involved in, with the internet being as amazing of a community as it is these days and such an awesome learning tool. A lot of information was getting out about the election, and we saw some really interesting stuff. The whole emergence of Bernie Sanders, libertarians and Green Party people getting way more representation than ever before. I mean, still jack all, really, but more than absolutely nothing, which is what they previously had. So, started talking to Brian a lot during that time because we both enjoy talking politics and religion and, basically things that piss people off. We're not trying to piss people off. We want to have a culture of, acceptance and understanding around here. We want to be like truth seekers, hopefully bring you true opinions and well, maybe not true opinions. I've been known to go off the wall every now and then, but as true as we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just open dialogue. I mean, that's the thing. We were very inspired by this new wave of alternative media and YouTube podcasting. The ability of, this decentralization of the media that's been occurring over the last decade, and particularly so in the last few years. So
and the last few days, because Bill O'Reilly got canned.
Yeah, there's big changes going on, so that's really been an inspiration to what we're doing. I guess we'll go into a little bit about ourselves as well before I think we're just going to dive into some topics today.
Hopefully.
And have a kind of a short discussion on things going on in the world. But first,
because there's a lot going on right now. That's one of the reasons for the podcast. Like,
yes,
exactly. We've been feeling like we need to get this going like weeks ago because the absolute tsunami of information and change that seems to be happening. It's like a world war thing going on, and
it's pretty crazy.
Oh man! But hey, before we get all into that, we're more gonna tell you the background. So the reason that we want to go with the Chaos Media thing, for me, a big thing is, well, not to mention the emergence of KEK and the 4chan thing. That's very interesting. It's an amazing phenomena that has emerged on the web. So sort of riding that interest. Before that, Chaos Media, to me, chaos is a very interesting science. It's sort of like the rebel science. It sort of emerged as rejects of all these other sciences. That it was just things that couldn't be explained. Like weather patterns and why you can't always predict those, and the whole Mandelbrot spiral or whatever it is, the coastline mapping. Depending on how close to the coastline you are, you can get way more detail, and therefore the measurement in total of the coastline changes. It's wild stuff that all comes together, and I really got into that in like 2012, and the chaos thing is very interesting. There's so many people trying to have order be the ruling ideology, essentially. I really believe in a lot of that yin and yang sort of stuff. There's got to be a balance to the universe and the world, and so we're trying to represent chaos because it's underrepresented. At least I feel.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely a good explanation on Matt's part. He's kind of been more aware and in touch with the chaos philosophy than I have. I just agreed with the name. I thought it was a good name, good title for what's the name of a show that we're kind of talking about everything, because there is a lot of chaos going on right now. Obviously, the world is in a pretty chaotic state, which was again another reason why we wanted to start this. But I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So yeah, I'm a good friend of Matt's. We decided we wanted to do this because of the reasons I've stated. I'm really into spirituality, and kind of arts stuff. That's more my background, I suppose. What's going on in terms of the evolution of consciousness right now, it seems to be, from where I stand in the world.
Seems to be emerging, you know.
It's definitely changing and progressing, and
at an alarming rate.
At an alarming rate, yes.
Due to the internet, largely, I'd say.
Due to the internet, yeah. Which so I'm writing a book right now as well.
Ooh, yeah, that's awesome, right?
It is pretty awesome. It's a lot of work, but yeah, it's titled "Revolution in the Information Age."
It's a very interesting topic for sure.
Thank you.
One of the reasons I want to be involved in this podcast as well, because he's got some serious clout for the book he's put together. It's pretty interesting. He goes through a lot of what's he can tell better than I can, obviously.
Yeah, no, we're just I'm just writing about sort of the changes that are occurring right now, and due to the fact, basically, of the internet, the decentralization of the media, as I kind of talked about, and what the changes and what kind of changes are happening right now. All sorts of stuff that we're going to go into on the show. So I'm sure I'll be talking a lot about it over the next little while. Other than that,
the more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
Let's get the message out. Let's go for it.
Yeah. Other than that, day to day, I'm a barber by trade. This is my side thing. And
so he's an artist, essentially.
Essentially, I do a lot of drawings in the hair.
He's shaved into the short hairs and whatnot, the back of the hair, the sides, all that cool stuff you see on the soccer players. Except he probably does a better job. His stuff is pretty cool. If you guys can go check him out. You have a Instagram?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm kind of trying to merge all my social media. So my Instagram's more hair focused, but it's Hair Etcher on Instagram. But I will be posting things related to the podcast and my book there as well. So
Hair Etcher as in H-A-I-R
H-A-I-R-E-T-C-H-E-R.
Yeah. That go look there to see the sweet designs he can put in hair.
Yes.
It's a fun thing to do, especially if you're going to like a party.
Yeah.
It goes away a couple weeks at least. If you got dark hair, it's gonna last longer. But dude. It looks like fun anyways. It's not a bad way to make some cash. Normally, I'm a electrician. Obviously, right now in the economy of Alberta, which is looking to bounce back soon, but not quite. I normally work as an electrician. Done a lot of really cool projects, especially around town. Went out to Vancouver for 1 year to help out with the startup of the hospital. The children's hospital out there, which was a really cool project to be a part of. Other projects I was a part of is the airport, Peter Lougheed Hospital expansion, a couple schools. I was working at the university, some satellite university sites as well, SAIT. I like not having gone up to the oil patch, actually, because I'm not a huge believer in the old regime, which is, I think oil and coal and non-renewables are very indicative of old regime ideas. I'm not saying we don't need those things still a little bit. I think a good mix of energy sources is probably where we're at now, is where we should be. But I do want to get to like totally sustainable green eventually. Like I think that's the way it makes sense to go. We've had a little bit of weird stuff happen with the weather, and there's a certain amount of people that say that's definitely correlated. So arguments for that. But yeah, we're not. That's not really a subject I think we're looking into today. We're more trying to lay the groundwork of things we're interested in.
For sure. We just wanted to kind of go into a bit about ourselves. I don't think really realistic right now too many people are going to be interested in that. We're just starting out, but eventually perhaps if we have any level of success, maybe this will be a fun one for people to look back on.
Well, I mean, hey, if you have a thing you want us to talk about and you're really interested in what we're doing, for sure mention it in the comments of any video, of course. Like, well, we're going to try to pay attention to that sort of stuff. We want to be interactive,
Absolutely.
We do. I want to argue with people, like,
well,
that's not mean, but I want to challenge ideas. I want to have people challenge
debate.
It's fun.
Eventually we are hoping, so the direction we're wanting to take with this is, obviously Matt and I will be having a lot of discussion throughout this journey, but we are also hoping to get a lot of guests on the show hopefully via Skype from all around the world. A lot of the popular personalities on YouTube now, just really get a lot of different input from people who have an expertise in a certain field, bring them on the show, talk to them, really just have a genuine podcast and get involved in this whole new wave of
media.
The
crazy alt-right emergence on YouTube that's blown up. The emergence of free speech activists. Like,
it's hilarious. I'm laughing because as it's hilarious, like some of the stuff we've been watching lately, Matt and I, on the way the media is trying to portray the alt-right or the great meme war,
or just include people in the alt-right who don't necessarily belong there. Like they throw people like PewDiePie, Sargon of Akkad. He's like a centrist libertarian sort of guy. They call him an alt-right all the time just because he's Prime Minister of Kyrgyzstan. Prime Minister, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the alt-right is also very misrepresented by media. So
because it's on YouTube, right? And YouTube's the enemy to mainstream media, right? And then that's sort of the side we're joining in this whole battle. Mainstream media is fairly it's just cocky, right? Like, they don't feel like they have to do a good job because
their days are done anyways.
Well, their numbers definitely show all that. And even the guy with the biggest show just got canned. O'Reilly again brought that up, but it's just indicative that it's not something that's sustainable. I would say it's not honest enough, and
well, that's the thing. It's totally dishonest. The narratives that they're trying to weave are,
politicians are bad enough, but you get like the friggin' media to spin the gross crap coming out of their mouths, and it's just completely ridiculous by the time it reaches any ears.
And they're just not in touch with the generations today. They're very much Generation X. The media, it's very liberal leaning, and which is fine. It's a way they're looking at things, but
they're not as aware of their biases as they should be. I would say.
And the quality of the journalism today has really gone downhill. I think Sargon did a recent video of that, of the journalism. I don't know if you saw that one, but they were talking about journalism today versus what it used to be when there were genuine journalists out there seeking, real information. Today they're just kind of spewing out regurgitated.
What he says, I think, in the video is that they go on like Twitter essentially, and they find something that they like that pushes their narrative, and then they talk about it like it's like a whole paper or a study of some kind. They inflate the language and sensationalize the crap out of it just because it fits whatever narrative they're trying to push, and like it just it doesn't work. People see through it, and like it. They try to get around that by like closing the comment section. Who are you trying to convince there? If you're not willing to defend your ideals,
censorship and controlling people will never work, which is
it typically has worked in some circumstances in the past, but that is absent the amazing tool of the internet that we have today. So that's one of my big things. Is I always try to advocate for internet freedom, speech. Not censoring things. The internet is the tool that has allowed all of that to progress more than anything, I think.
Yeah.
We kind of got to give a shout out to Al Gore in that regard. Because a lot of people, I don't think, know that the reason that the internet is protected the way it is today is because of bills that Al Gore put forward, to my knowledge. I mean, I might be blowing this. I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You've told me that, so I've no reason to doubt you unless you're
sure I was convinced of it at one point. If it's not true, I'm super sorry. But I'm pretty sure that Al Gore went in there and slugged it out for the internet.
Nice.
And
That's good. Well,
he's kind of a environmental shill. But, at least you can say that he did that well.
Mm-hmm.
And, his pursuit of man-bear-pig is also admirable.
Yeah, nice. So what do we want to talk about today?
Well, I mean, it's been fun so far.
It's been fun so far, yeah. We want to dive into some issues, maybe just...
Well, I mean, one thing that's coming up tomorrow that I'm super excited about is the French election, right?
Yeah.
We got the first round is now done. I think they're down to only 3 or 4, I think, made it to the second round.
No, I thought there was still 11, actually.
11?
Yeah.
So we should obviously look this up. But there's 3 that are of mention, at least, anyways, that I've heard about. Le Pen being one of them, who I believe everyone knows about. She's certainly made a lot of media waves. I kind of like her ideas, personally, because it looks like it might solve a lot of the issues that France is having. It might not, because no political system is perfect. But compared to the other people, I like a lot of her ideas anyways.
Yeah.
There's another guy that I think he came up. He's another populist sort of guy. He's not a typical party member.
Is it that Melic?
Yeah.
Cone? We're horrible. We're discussing this. We don't even know what we're talking about.
This is the kind of quality you can expect from us. Come at us in the comment section. Let us know why we're idiots.
I
but
think it's Melancon is another. He's like a far left populist, I believe.
Yeah.
We're just
tune
in
to Tune in to get some stupid facts here. But we're excited about the way the whole thing's going to go, because France has been a battleground, right? I mean,
it's crazy what's going on in Europe, and it's been in a state of national emergency, I guess.
France, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really... it's not something you want to see in a free country. France has typically been one of those, like, was France, Britain, Germany, Russia, sort of thing, right? Those are the big dogs, essentially. And France is really in a rough spot. Like, they've had military people walking the streets for over a year. Like,
all of Europe. Yeah. I mean, right now, lately, you see literally there's like some big terrorist attack every week that's making news,
some kind of news, yeah,
and all the other stuff that's going on that isn't being reported. So it's certainly
it's not being emphasized as much as it probably should be, and that's one major criticism of the mainstream media. But there's like starker failings, like when CNN was getting protested outside their building and they didn't report on it for like fucking 14 hours or something crazy like that.
CNN is awful.
Oh man, it's so bad. Them and Fox just set the bar.
Yeah,
they're right up there with BuzzFeed.
BBC is shockingly, I think. As I learn more about them, and we recently, I shared to you the Saving Syria's Children special. It's like a 45-minute BBC TV spot where they're essentially, no one's disagreeing that chemical weapons have been used in Syria. However,
They saw the effects.
Yeah, on this specific special,
the incident that happened in 2013, right?
Yeah, with the chemical weapons attack.
First time.
It seemed to be completely fabricated for the cameras.
At least the media story that gained all of the attention that caused them to go and do all these things. That media story seems very clearly fabricated.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, even I don't know the I can't remember the guy who's done the research on it, but he's done extensive research into this 45-minute documentary.
If you just look up debunking Syria's children or whatever that is, then you'll find the guy. He looks like a debunker guy. You'll know.
Yeah, but it's Saving Syria's Children. It's fascinating to see that essentially. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory, I suppose, but looking at the information presented, it's very, very convincing that this whole thing was
Well,
fabricated.
the main nurse girl is like she's
Mm.
the daughter of. It's not one of the opposition leaders, but he's affiliated with the opposition leaders.
Yes, yeah. The
Or at
doctor, the main doctor in the special, her father is a very prominent rebel leader figure in
Well, it's opposition.
opposition to
Yeah,
Assad's.
it's an official opposition thing. They're not. I don't think they're
Okay,
rebels
okay.
necessarily.
Okay.
Maybe they are. I
Mm.
don't know, but anyways, they're definitely the guys against Assad. So they have reason to make him look bad, make him look like they had chemicals to go off. So raises a lot of questions. I don't necessarily believe that
Yeah.
that was Assad's fault necessarily. I heard that the Saudis actually sold the rebels the chemical weapons and they mishandled them, and that's how the
Mm.
weapons attack went off. And then
Whoa.
this story was
Yeah.
fabricated like 3 days later.
Mm.
And then that happened to coincide when Britain was their parliament was voting
Mm.
on whether or not to go to war and go to Syria.
Yeah.
So it was the timing and everything. Like it's a very interesting case.
We should get that guy on our show, whatever his name is. Can't remember.
Hey,
Sorry,
shout
buddy.
out to whoever your name is.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
You got a computer in front of there? You can just look it up. Actually,
Yeah, I can. That's the point of having the computer to
other
look
than
things up.
it
But
looks fun to stare at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish I had one. I'd be like, hey, did you know?
But yeah, the French election is going to be very interesting. I would imagine that it's going to go the same way as the American one did with Le Pen. It seems to me that
She's just gonna squeak it out.
Yeah, I think she's going to squeak it out.
It could go that way, the way it's looking right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, it's
they did
very
just have
tight.
another attack in Paris.
Yeah,
the
the
other
more,
night.
unfortunately, to say this, the more that these attacks do occur, the more it only strengthens her side of
Yeah. I mean,
the coin
it
here.
might not be getting angry for the right reasons. It might be like racially inspired, but what it should be inspired by is ideology. You want to fight against people that want to usurp your country, essentially.
Mhm.
Put Sharia law in place. That's not cool. That's not Sharia law. It doesn't coincide with democracy and freedom. It's about servitude, and it makes slavery okay, right? Like they actually have slaves in the countries that this all happens in. Islamicists and stuff like that. So anything that leaves the door open for that sort of stuff must be questioned, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's very interesting what's going on, as we've said, in Europe and with the immigrant crisis.
Because you got to help these people, but like you can't lose the identity of your country, right? I mean,
and as you said, the beliefs that a certain portion of the Islam,
the Medina Islamicists,
Mhm.
right? The warful ones, the ones that believe all the stuff Muhammad talked about
Okay.
after moving to Medina, and he became more political and he started taking control of the army and stuff like that. Like he was a different guy in Mecca. In Mecca, he was more of a Jesus dude. He was all like love, peace, But
Mhm.
people didn't take him seriously, and that's why, because everyone in that region worship multiple gods, not just the one God, Allah, that he was, speaking about. So he got not a lot of traction. So he moved to Medina and then took up this more warlike attitude, and that's when the whole thing really took off. And then there's been hadith. I think those are modifications made later when they were trying to write the religion down, sort of like the Nicaea. Is that for the Catholics? That's the
I'm not
Council of
sure.
Nicaea. Is
okay.
when they wrote all of the Bible down and they decided what to include, what not to include. Solomon's Key or something like that was excluded. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories around, obviously, all these holy books, because religion is really important to people, so they make it part of themselves. You attack a religion, you attack them, sort of thing. People take it really personally, so attacking religion has been really important and really looked down upon in a lot of ways, but probably necessary thing to do. got to question ideologies.
Yeah, well, you have to question things. I mean, we need to preface this by saying we're not at all, racist or anything.
I don't think I'm racist.
No.
Sure. I mean, unless I'm trying to make a funny joke, like, I think jokes are jokes. As long as you're like really nice to people and like you show that like you are accepting as a person, then you have more leeway to make jokes. And it's just some people are trolls and they don't feel that way at all.
Yeah. So
we don't want to be trolls.
I mean, one of the fascinating things in what's going on with our level of consciousness right now, and what I see as the sort of evolution of consciousness, is again this whole battle between what a lot of people online are terming the regressive left and people who are supporting free speech and the ability to criticize issues such as the crisis in Europe and be able to intellectually have a conversation about that without being called
racist,
whatever
Nazi.
They want to call you.
They're
calling
around.
people Nazis these days. Like, do you want to maybe talk to this person, see if they actually uphold Nazi ideals instead of just like trashing someone like PewDiePie recently? I mean, just completely destroy. He's fine. PewDiePie's got millions, but I mean, just to defame someone like that.
He was the biggest guy to try to take out, right? If they could take him out, then they didn't have anything to worry about.
Well, the Milo one was really interesting. Did you when they took
really
him out?
me.
I don't know. Were you following on 4chan someone who had inside ties to the mainstream media posted on 4chan the day before they released all the negative stuff on Milo. And he specifically said, like, we've been waiting on this for a while. Be prepared. Milo's going to be totally,
taken out.
Yeah. And they posted that on 4chan, someone who had an inside leak the day before.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done that, or some troll on 4chan pretended they were this person and put this all out. But they clearly knew something was coming.
This
anyways.
was prior to the
It was
release
the day
of
before.
Yeah,
so
no one knew at that point,
Well,
and
I
this
mean,
person releases.
Who knows?
I don't know. It was definitely.
It definitely seems legit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that it seems legit. But I mean, you gotta keep that door open for doubt, right? I mean, question everything.
But it's the state of this attack media right now. We're gonna attack someone no matter the cost, because
they're being attacked, right? Like they're losing money and advertising, right? So they're trying to thrash back, but they're not doing it the right way. They're trying to take people out. They're not trying to do a better job, try to address an audience that clearly doesn't believe in their message. You know, like they don't want to change, right? Like that's the whole problem with this friggin' thing, is that they're trying to take you out rather than adapt to the times, and that's, that standoffish attitude gets a really bad reaction. I mean, you got people in the streets saying...
Well, again, if they're calling someone a Nazi or something like this, that's a pretty substantial claim to make about a person. Do you want to maybe talk to that person and find out, is PewDiePie actually a Nazi? Does he really believe these things, instead of just trashing a person's name and notoriety
because he lost a lot of money. Like in the
I mean it's hard
event,
to feel
right?
bad for the guy. He's got millions, but
but I mean that's the reason that the mainstream media is mad. It's because they're screwing with their cash, right? So I mean, they're just attacking his cash. Like they think they're justified in doing such a thing. So that's the justification they see. That's why I use that as a guiding point for that argument, right? I mean, I kind of hate the whole money thing. I think it's a religion that people don't recognize these days, that they overly celebrate. I mean, the church of money is very strong, in my opinion. The whole Wall Street goddamn place is just corrupt as hell.
Yeah, no, but in terms of what's going on with
the internet
and
mainstream,
we need to be able to have open dialogue. That's very important to have that open dialogue where we can talk about issues and maybe don't be so quick to label people the way that
judgment doesn't.
It is hilarious because these people on the left, they're
championing
the idea of political correctness and not prejudiced, not being prejudiced to people. Yet they're
They're
labeling
being-
these people as these, like
they're
everyone
being
on the
authoritarian.
alt-right think that they're a Nazi or whatever. It's, let's get to know the opposite side before you start doing exactly what you're the opposite of, what you're
Because any amount of
apparently believe in, which is your political correctness and not, labeling people and being prejudiced.
I mean, any amount of research into the PewDiePie incident or Milo or any of these other like major attacks really shows inconsistency in what they're trying to claim, right? And I mean, like, if you watch more than what the Wall Street Journal put together against PewDiePie, which is like, a couple clips, if you watch the entire videos those clips are from, you clearly understand that these are jokes being made. There's experiments being done.
They don't understand humor, though. That's the thing. The left,
Nothing's funny,
certain
apparently,
individuals
anymore.
on the left, on the regressive left, cannot seem to take a joke, and that is,
Sad.
it's insane that
Laughter is what like helps people deal with problems, right? And you feel like a lot of these people on the left are trying to champion people that have problems that are unrecognized in our modern society, right? So if you make it impossible to make jokes with them and try to like, say that like what they're dealing with isn't such a like you don't want to like say it's not such a bad thing, but like you can always find a silver lining no matter how terrible things get, right? There's a way to push forward. Right, and to use humor really inspires that, like for so many ways. I mean, humor, it's a dialogue it's changed so many different things. I mean, you look at like how popular black humor is, like it's championed their culture for so many ways. Not to mention like rap. I mean, like hip hop, Soul Train, like all that stuff. Their cultures really come to the forefront in the West for so many reasons. But oh my God, I just lost that.
Well, I mean, these people are just taking things way too seriously. You need to sort of
the comedians.
remove yourself from your ego a little bit. You are, in my belief, something much deeper than this like ego that you've constructed about yourself. And when you take things so literally that they damage your ego so profoundly, like we need to be able to Matt and I make jokes about him, he makes jokes about me,
we understand that it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, and we're not liberal snowflakes, for lack of
or right-wing snowflakes, for
Yeah.
that matter. I mean, I think there's snowflakes everywhere. They just melt as soon as you put any pressure on them. But comedians are almost pushing the envelope these days of political change or cultural change, like challenging what is acceptable to speak about. They're champions of free speech for so many ways. I mean,
and it's interesting that now a lot of comedians are on the right rather than the left.
Well, you always go against what's popular.
Right.
The comedians is a very punk thing to do, I think, for so many reasons. It's anti-establishment because it's criticism of the establishment, which the establishment hates, and they always, typically in the past when information hasn't been so available, they've tried to stamp it out in bad situations, in situations you don't want to be in, as far as citizen goes.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see them pushing free speech. Joe Rogan is massive for being a comedian, for pushing free speech, for having those intellectual conversations that are so interesting. And then like the people that showed up at the free speech at Berkeley, the Battle of Berkeley, the fourth Battle of Berkeley, as it became known as. That was just an amazing event in itself. Like these people came
crazy
to Berkeley College, which university, I should say. It's typically been a place for free speech in history. Like in the 60s, 70s, sort of thing. They had free speech marches there, and they were like these beautiful, moving events that really helped push society forward. And now, they're these. Like Berkeley College, like there's been so many free speech events that have been like shut down there. Like this group Antifa keeps showing up. They claim to be anti-fascist, but they're half fascist because they're authoritarian. Authoritarian nationalist is what fascism is, right? They're totally authoritarian. They're halfway to fascist, and they call everyone else
crazy.
Nazis. They're friggin' they're massive hypocrites. Antifa. If you are a member of Antifa, quit. Just quit. It's the stupidest thing. You look like idiots,
Do
especially
they
after
even
that.
reveal their faces ever, or are they always just like cloaked in black?
Well, I
Is
mean,
that-
they're very often cloaked in black.
Yeah.
I mean, they're cowards, essentially. They don't want to show their face. They're not proud of what they're doing, obviously. Or you would show your face, in my opinion. I mean, are you proud?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, watching the Battle of Berkeley and
Like, man, having M83s chucked on your head. No
It's
wonder
crazy.
those people were pissed. The mortars, I heard, were being used. Those things hurt people. You
Yeah.
kill people with that crap.
yeah,
And they don't even care. It's like, oh, you're trying to say something that's somewhat offensive to somebody. Better chuck an M83 at you.
yeah.
Show me the rationale in that. Show me how that's reasonable. Honestly.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about today? I mean, I feel like I don't want to ramble on too much. People don't know who we are yet, so I don't want to have this big long podcast just of us bickering back and forth or whatever. I guess that's
Well,
not
I mean,
already.
that's probably going to be this podcast anyways. I mean, just...
Yeah, well, I'm looking
we want
forward
to debate.
I'm looking forward to getting guests on, mainly though, interviewing people. That's really where I want to take things, because I don't necessarily claim to be an expert on anything. So to bring the experts on and have the conversation with them is really what I'm.
Well, that would be
Certainly.
the best way to push the conversation forward, which is something that we want to do around here for sure. You know, how do we really delve? We could speculate on their ideas essentially without them. And we'll probably do that. You know, I don't mind speculating on some ideas. I mean, you know, that's how you come up with some really interesting stuff for sure. I mean, you get inspired by other people and then you create something and then, or someone creates something from hearing an idea and then that thing evolves. You know, that's how we progress forward as a society freely, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to touch on today, or?
Well, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of good stuff here.
Cool. Yeah.
You know, I think we've maybe pissed a few people off, which was always
We'll see.
good. You know, if anything we've said today has pissed you off, you should just take the blinders off, okay? Just take a look at life. Really consider if you're approaching it the way you should, because you should be open-minded. I mean, if when you, I do want to talk about this, okay? So
Sure,
when you get mad at something, when you choose the victim side of a argument of some kind, whether there is a victim side or not, and you might create one or something. When you do this sort of thing, it doesn't help you, okay? I want to explain this to people. I think this is pretty important. It weakens your position. Honestly, you when you I'm blowing tire here. when you weaken your position by acting like a victim, you don't. People don't respect that in history for any reason. Like back in the day, like the Greeks and whatnot, like the gods favored the strong. That's what everyone said, right? I mean, that's not the main mentality that you should have for sure. But I mean, that's how we push forward, is to be strong, right? And a lot of these people, they've been disadvantaged somehow. You know, they have a reason to believe that they are a victim a lot of the time. You don't have to be a victim, though. I mean, you can choose to work harder, essentially, to try to strive for something else. I mean, the path forward might be murky, but there's always something you can work on. There's always some sort of self-improvement sort of thing, and everyone's capable of it. You know, like you can look inside yourself and find something that's good and beautiful and fight for that, and use that to inspire you to do something good for the world, which is what you should do, because we've always moved forward together. You know, we've become a society as a group. You know, we didn't do it individually. We had individuals stand up and push us forward, which is why we need some sort of meritocracy in our society. We can't just go full communist. As much as we'd like to, take care of people, right? It's nice to not see people suffer. You know, not having poverty seems like a good thing. You know, you get like less crime and stuff when there's no poverty. But yeah, I think that's kind of an important thing for people to take away is that there's totally things you can do. It's within all of us to improve and to do good in the world and to be a beautiful, positive influence. And I think that's important. And everyone should shoot for that. Should shoot for that.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
We're feeling like that's a good one.
we're feeling like that's a good one.
Wrap it
Again,
up.
we'll see how many people want to watch us for the first episode.
Everybody,
All right.
everyone will want to watch us. 'Cause
All right.
we're so inquisitive.
Right on. Yeah.
And
No, that
handsome.
sounds like a good episode for me. Again, I'm looking forward to some future episodes. We'll hopefully bring some guests on very shortly. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy. We got a cool studio. I think we pulled together something good. I think we got a lot of good content and conversations to come. So
Hopefully.
yeah,
A little bit better research than our information from the French election. Yeah,
I mean,
try to research that and come back at you with that one. I think that would
Yeah.
be a good way to save that.
Yeah. I mean, again, the main thing is like when neither of us are claiming to be necessarily experts in anything.
No. Yeah.
We're looking to
I'm
just have
claiming
conversation.
to be an expert in some things, but not
Fair enough.
necessarily the French election.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely. I think that a big part of this, as I keep saying, is going to be getting guests on. So
If not, we'll just hit you with our opinions until you smite us in the comment section, and then we can have that conversation.
yeah, we're looking forward to interacting for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
the big thing is like this is open, free speech, open conversation. We want to be able to talk about whatever. We want you to criticize us. We'll point out where we're wrong. So we can make up better shows. We can get more informed. We're all in this together.
Yeah, we're truth seeking here. So if
Truth-seeking.
you can drop some knowledge bombs on us, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We're ready.
All right.
Bunkered out.
All right. Anything else we want to go over today? Are we ready to wrap this thing up?
We are totally ready to wrap this thing
All
up.
right.
Feels so good to get it done.
Good. Yeah. No. For sure, man.
Okay. Let's move forward with another one right away.
Yeah. All
Let's
right.
keep bringing it at you. You
Right
ready
on.
for this? Are you ready for this?
All right. Cool.
Here we go.
Well, thanks, you guys.
Thanks for joining us at BM
Our
Sessions.
number
here.
one, or our first podcast.
Yeah, number one